Hey folks, today we're going out to do a comparison between the Galaxy S21 Ultra and the Google Pixel 6 Pro. This is an everyday user's comparison. It has to be. It can't be one of these fancy tech review comparisons because that's not how we live. So I'm going to be testing out all the basics that we use on a day-to-day basis between these two phones. Some say the best phones of the year. Some may not say that. But let's go, get stuck into it. Alright, so we're on the way and let's just stop for a coffee and some donuts. But the first thing I want to talk about with these phones, Pixel 6 Pro, Galaxy S21 Ultra, is the software. And straight out, the Pixel 6 Pro is better because it's pure Android, as pure as you can get anyway. And there's no double ups and there's no gimmicks. It's just good old-fashioned Android 12.0. You get the latest security updates on time. You get a lot of features that are just for the Pixel 6 Pro. I love it. I think it's way better than Samsung with the One UI and Bixby and all that stuff thrown in. Samsung software is really good, but it is heavy, man. Like, it is heavy. And there's a lot of gimmicks in there. It's still really good software, but for me, it's the Pixel 6 Pro with the software is better. A lot less gimmicks, stripped down, but enough customization to keep you happy, and it's just streamlined. One phone app, one messaging app, all that sort of thing, whereas with Samsung, you got two messaging apps, two phone apps, and it just doesn't need to be there. It doesn't need to be that way. Another point with software is that on-device translating and also on-device like transcribing, like typing what I'm saying. I mean, for Google, it just kills it on the Pixel 6. I just love it. It's just awesome. Like, I can press the mic button, say a whole text message, a long one, and it gets it correct every time. I just can't believe how good it is. And that's something that I think is the future. Samsung doesn't quite have that and is not there, so I'd have to say for software in that way, Google's really taken the cake and just sort of pushing forwards a little bit. Whereas Samsung, it had Bixby and it was shit. It fell away. I mean, no one really uses Bixby. Software, at this point, Samsung has released the December security update and Google hasn't. And it's like December 29 right now. And Google's made an absolute balls up of releasing the software updates. Interesting. So for me, the Pixel 6 Pro and the Google software, Android software and the Google features, they all tie in together so well. So the software goes to the Pixel 6. Oh, you know what? 7-Eleven coffee. It's dirty, but it's cheap. So just going to set up the cameras now on the Galaxy S21 Ultra and the Pixel 6 Pro. We're going to record in video. Something that annoys me with both of these is they film in 4K 60 or 1080p 60, but they don't give you the option to film in 25 frames per second or 50 frames per second, which is what I shoot in here in Australia all the time. So I just realized then, as I was filming with the S21 Ultra and the Pixel 6 Pro, after 10 minutes, the Pixel 6 Pro overheated. I was filming in 4K 60 on both cameras or phones, and the Pixel 6 Pro overheated. Just couldn't cope. And it's about 30 degrees today, maybe 80% humidity. So it's not going to do well if you want to film a lot of stuff. The Pixel 6 Pro is not going to cope. Okay, so cut. I went out filming and made some amateur mistakes while filming the video part of this comparison. So every time I would choose stabilization in the S21 Ultra, it would go from 4K 60 to 1080p 50. And that, it just kept happening. It was frustrating me. So that's why I'm here now and I'm going through some of these photos and videos with you You buy your phone and you take photos with it so you can instantly share it to social media. You're not a professional photographer who's going into Lightroom, paying for Lightroom, going in there and editing your photos and then trying to sell them online. Most of you wouldn't be. Most of you are going to be taking photos of your cat, your dog, sunset, something funny, something stupid, sharing it to Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, maybe in WhatsApp, sending something to your family and friends. So for the point of that, the Pixel 6 Pro is going to be the better camera. And it definitely performed better for photography. Now for videography, I had mixed results. The stabilization in the Pixel 6 Pro is good. It's really good. I loved it. For me, it actually was a little bit better than Samsung's. It crops in the 4K mode, but it can still do stabilization in 4K 60.
4K 60, no stabilization on the Ultra, standard stabilization on the Pixel. Now if I turn the stabilization on the Ultra, it cuts down to 1080p, whereas on the Google, stabilization's on and we're currently still filming in 4K 60. Can you see a difference?
However, the S21 Ultra has way more options. So you've got 8K 24 frames per second, you've got all your 4K modes, you've got your 1080p modes, you've got way better slow motion options as well. I think it's something crazy frame rate for slow motion. Whereas with the Pixel, you have just one option for slow motion, which still does a great job, but it's not the best looking slow motion. And you only have one option. So I think overall the S21 Ultra is better for video, but not by much. And I think for just general point and shoot and share, I'm gonna go with the Pixel 6 Pro. And the beauty mode in the Pixel 6 Pro is definitely more aggressive than in the S21 Ultra. It just is way more aggressive. So really interesting things here to look at. What else am I gonna cover? Just quickly.
I wouldn't say either of these phones are really your outdoor rugged type phones. They're both very delicate, very shiny, very slippery, and definitely need a case as soon as you take them out of the box. So build and design, I'd say pretty. Rugged, hell no. So you're definitely going to want to get the best case you can. S21 Ultra, great build quality, everything feels sturdy on it, although I wouldn't drop it, and you must have a case on it. Pixel 6 Pro, however, it feels cheap, especially on the white one. You got this plastic looking midi strip on the top of it, which I think looks like garbage. I don't think it should be there. It has a lip on it that is picky, makes you think you can peel it off. And also on the back where the visor is for the camera, on the edges of that, it also has a lip on each side and it feels cheap and plasticky. I think it's a design flaw or just cheap build quality. So I'm going to give the build and design to the S21 Ultra because it looks premium and feels premium. Pixel 6 Pro, yeah, fucked up. You know, and on these road trips I go on, build and design is important, and that's why I say none of these phones are really like your out and about adventurous type phones. They're more for like your city folk. Today we're out and about to cook some lunch. Just leave that. That's it, just go. We'll leave the rest.
This is a very sunny day. I'm not that wet.
Lucky.
I love you, towels.
Lucky both these phones are IP68. Wow, check that out.
What are you doing?
What's going on? It's raining in the car.
Now, when it comes to connectivity, you both get 5G on these phones, and to be honest, 5G doesn't mean shit when it comes to the phone because it really depends on your operator, how good the coverage is. These both have 5G. I use Vodafone network here in Australia, which is patchy at best. Battery life for me is pretty average on both of them. They've both got 5,000 milliamp hour batteries, and they both, for me, need to be charged on the way home from work, just so I can comfortably get through the day. Now I get up at 5 a.m. and I exercise for an hour with running or cycling, so GPS is being used. Then I do photography and filming throughout the day, you know, all the social media as well, plus consuming media, a bit of Netflix, a bit of YouTube throughout the day, video calls, that sort of thing. So I do go through a fair bit of battery, but I would have thought I would have got through the day comfortably with 5,000 milliamp hours. Unfortunately not with either of these devices. So if I had to give it to anyone, I think it'd be the Pixel, but just by a nudge. Performance, they're equal on performance. All flagships are equal on performance. Both amazing. You really can't go wrong with either of them, whether it's gaming or multitasking, whatever you want to do. You know, you can go and do like your benchmarks, whatever. Day to day, you're not going to be able to tell the difference. The Tensor is like Google censoring us. The Tensor chip versus the Exynos, you really can't tell a difference. They're both at the top of the food chain. Really great performance. So you got battery life, Pixel 6, software, Pixel 6, photography, Pixel 6, videography, Samsung, build quality, Samsung, look and feel, Pixel 6, performance, equal. I'm really thinking Pixel 6 Pro is coming out on top for me. And look, I'm someone who's just a pretty average guy, you know, like I go to work, I come out on day trips, I do a lot of adventuring, a lot of exploring, I do a lot of exercise. Both of these do all that really well. For me, the Pixel 6 Pro gets the edge, only just. What do you think? What's your thoughts? Which one would you get? Which one do you prefer if you've got both? Or which one did you regret buying? I regretted buying the Galaxy S21 Ultra because of the flaws for the price. But the 6 Pro, it's $600 cheaper than the S21 Ultra. Even a year later after the S21 Ultra's release. So it's a definite win for me on the 6 Pro. Pixel 6 Pro. My choice? What's your choice? Love to hear it in the comments. Get stuck into it. Don't forget, links down below to anything you've seen in this video that's tech related. There'll be links down there. Thank you for watching, and I love you all, and I will catch you in the next video. Chuck ya!